community kitchen. I'm done. And today we are gonna get big knives out, food processor. We are going to make chips out of different vegetables, and we're gonna roast them in the oven, thin layers. So we have potato, carrots, sweet potato, a zucchini, and some beets. And oh yeah, I will also get mushrooms. Like some of them are gonna get to the chip, I think, consistency that we want. And some will maybe stay a little bit more moist, like the mushroom, because mushroom is like 99% water, something like that. So we're gonna try this. It's gonna be a healthy snack. There's just gonna be a little bit of oil so that it doesn't stick to the parchment paper when we're gonna roast it. And that's about it. I'm gonna use my food processor with an adjustable blade to have a really good thickness. When I cut my carrots, I don't want to just cut them like in just like quarters, because that's gonna be pretty small. I want like a bigger piece of chip. So what I did is I cut them in little section, and I put them that way in my food processor. My food processor, I have a little adjustable blade there that decides what depth I want, and I set it at 2 millimeters. Too thick because it's gonna be too long to dry up, and not too thin because we don't want part of it to burn while the other's still not cooked. I've got my blade, so to have the size I want, I'm putting a piece of carrot that way in my food processor so that they cut sideways and not top and bottom. So it goes pretty fast. I'm gonna put another chunk here. So we already have the carrot cut. So it's like a pretty thin thing. Doing it with a knife, I think the trick with doing it with a knife would be to have your knife stable enough. So I'll have a few of those. Somewhat thinner. The stuff that's too thin like this, I might just get rid of that hole, because around the hole is gonna burn up really quickly. Of course, we're gonna try ordinary potatoes. So that looks, yeah, that looks pretty cool. Good size. With the zucchini, I'm wondering if I should just cut it by hand, this one, since that would be easiest vegetable to cut by hand. And I'm going to, so by hand, I'm doing this. I don't want it to be too thin because the zucchini are very different from the rest, so they're gonna probably cook differently. Next part, I have set my oven at 350, and what I want to do now, start with the zucchini, and I've just got a cooking spray canola oil one. And I have parchment paper. I think you can also try with foil paper, but I think both of them you will need to spray it because there's no oil on our vegetable at all. So otherwise it's gonna cook, but it's gonna stick to it. So I'm just doing this to prevent sticking and also to help the roasting. And then I'm just gonna spread things evenly. And they're touching because they're gonna shrink, and you'll see a lot of empty space afterwards. So that's what it looks. I didn't have enough zucchini to cover my whole pan, so I went and put a few mushrooms in there. And because I feel that mushroom and zucchini are probably going to be similar in cooking time because they're both full of water. So those spread, I'm adding another layer of spray on top. Not too much. And for seasoning today, I'm going to go simple, just salt. The first time I do something, I try to do it pretty simple. And then if it works, I might change it up. Yeah, for flavoring, I guess you could try something more barbecue-y, chili, maybe turmeric or something like that. So this is the first one that's ready to go in the oven. I'm gonna put the timer at 15 minutes. After 15 minutes, I'm gonna turn every piece over, put another 15, see what it looks like, and then maybe lower my temperature and see how long it takes, because it's gonna be a time game at this point. You can also make one tray with assortment and then see which one works best. So this is part experimenting and part just going at it. So I'll go ahead and do the same thing. Spread another layer of spray salt in the oven again for 15 minutes. Then keep on watching every 15 minutes. All right. So that makes like some colorful trays there. We'll see how much shrinking we get. After this spent 15 minutes in the oven, I flipped them around. I put in at 350. I put them again for another 15 minutes at 350. I think at that point, I should have lowered the temperature maybe at 250 or 200, because some of them you can see like this is a sweet potato, and also this is also a sweet potato. This was at the edge. It got a little bit brown, but it's very good anyway. This is the beets. Very sweet, very nice, very crunchy. The carrots are a little bit more like leathery, but not this one. There's still some that are not quite ready. I think what I would have done it differently, like I said, was I would have done after the first 350, 15 minutes, I would lower the temperature about 175 or 200 and keeping them for as long as they need to finish off, so they don't brown up too much, and they probably would be more uniformly cooked. But also I did see a difference between the one that were a little bit thicker and the one that was thinner. The thinner, especially the beets, cook really quickly. So you have to keep an eye on it. You can't just forget about them. And the salt is just nice. I just sprayed a little bit of salt. Perfect and so delicious. That's why I want to not completely finish. The mushroom are still rubbery. They're gonna take longer. I had to take this picture because I'm gonna eat this. It's so good. Such a nice snack for your kids or for yourself. Refreshing and different and healthier than I think a lot of options out there. So have fun trying that. And it's pretty quick actually. Like just a preparation might be, if you don't have a food processor, might be the thing that takes you longest, but the cooking itself, not that long. And you could have eaten it before it gets super crispy, when it's still leathery, like a side dish for a meal. Not necessarily chips, but just like a leathery veggie. So that's my take. So this week at the Community Kitchen, that's what we did, a snack. And it's so good. So good. See you next time.